Of course, when I film, that is when the planes decide they're gonna try to fly outside today. Of course, I live by an aviation school, so shout out to them, I guess. Whatever. Their students are always in the skies, I can hear. So they're doing lawn work outside. I'm just gonna give that disclosure, that disclaimer. If you guys hear them outside, I hear them too. Bear with me, okay? All right, guys, so what is up, boobies? It's your girl Milashaesworld, back in the cut with another video. And today, as you can see by the title, we are going to talk about why I'm done with dating apps, okay? Dating in your 20s period is just a really hard and trying time, but I wanted to really tap into why I'm specifically done with apps like Upward, Tinder, BLK, Hinge, Bumble, POF. I'm done with all of them. I've only really given Tinder, Upward, BLK, and Bumble a try like long term, and I'm pretty much done with all of them. And this is basically not a critique of these apps, but just like my honest review as a consumer on like why I will literally probably be deleting every single profile off of these apps pretty soon. I stopped using them. I really don't go on them, but my profiles are still active, and that's just because for me it's more so of a visibility thing, like just still being on there, still being seen. But I don't really care anymore. I'm so over these apps. I got real beef with Tinder. I'm starting with Tinder. I keep saying Tinder like a chicken tender, but no, I'm really over Tinder, and let me tell you why. Like, I got the most beef with Tinder, and that is because that app screams nothing but hookup culture. 100%. I've gotten the most hits on Tinder, honestly, just because I know guys want to have sex, and if they think that you're attractive, they won't read your bio. My bio clearly says no hookups, and I still get all these guys with this hookup culture who want to swipe on me. And that's the main reason I'm over Tinder, is because it's a space for hookup culture to thrive, okay? And I'm a person that has the intention of dating to marry, and so whoever I'm dating, I seriously want to get to know you. I want to be in your life long term. I don't want to be a smash or pass. That's nothing I'm looking to do. Like, I want to know if we could go to church together. Could we do Bible study together? Like, are you really an intentional man? Are you a man of your word? Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a man who's just going to talk to me on the phone all day, and waste my time and run down my battery because you just want to sit and be booed up on the phone. I think that's so lame. And so I'm over hookup culture. That's probably the #1 reason I'm over Tinder and all these dating apps, because it just allows, again, hookup culture to thrive. My next point, you know, guys, I always have notes in my phone, so that is why. But my next point, I said, honestly, it causes me as a woman to sometimes question my attractiveness, my appearance, and my worthiness, because I'm always thinking about, like, okay, all these men who I might deem out of my league, I see them, they're my type, they're who I swipe on, but am I their type? Am I who they want to match with? And when I match with them, I almost feel intimidated or like I'm not worthy, because we're in such a social media heavy generation and age where everything's slapped in our face, and we see all the insta baddies and things like that. And so it's really hard for me to really see, like, is natural beauty still a thing? Like, will he appreciate a woman who looks like me really, like in real life, or am I just somebody he's settling for? And I think that has to do with insecurities, and I can't fully blame the apps for that. I'm usually a very secure and confident woman though, but honestly sometimes I do get in my own head, and I think these apps really do fuel that tension mentally. It also leaves the door open for validation seeking, which is something I definitely try to stray away from. I really hate feeling like I need a male's validation, but there's something so satisfying about a notification going off on your phone and you seeing you got a new match, and then him complimenting you and calling you beautiful. Even the a-holes who don't know how to properly compliment a woman, sometimes their compliments can also make you feel really good, and you're just like, okay, like, you kind of get a little cocky in the head, and it's like, all right, you know, I know I'm this stuff. I also have to blame these apps to say I'm done because it made me a ghoster. It made me way too comfortable ghosting people. That is a very toxic, negative habit to have, and I pray that nobody watching this has developed that habit, but I do have that habit, and that is something I've been trying my best to break, because it is not fair to a person ever to talk to them and then just stop talking to them out of the blue. Okay, and I'm a ghoster to the max. I will ghost somebody if I'm uninterested. The conversation can be going very well and then I'm bored and boom, I just ghost. It's very toxic of me, very negative of me, and I think that's why I need to give these apps a break, because it's made me too comfortable and complacent behind a screen. Because I know in real life, if I was dating somebody, I had to see them every day, probably wouldn't ghost them, you know? I would have a normal conversation. So yeah. So my next point is going to be disrespectful men. I literally cannot stress this enough. I am so tired. I am so tired of the disrespect I get on these apps. And a lot of women say they get disrespected the most by black men. I think that's false, so we need to stop spreading that narrative. I get disrespected by all men, really bad. But no man pushes the envelope worst. I'm not even gonna go there, but it's not the black men that are pushing the disrespect. I get it the worst from one particular group, and I'm not even gonna go there. I'm just gonna say they're usually exactly my age. My age range on the apps are always from my age up to like 28. I'm 23, so I do 23 to 28. It's a fair range for me. I'm probably gonna move it up away from my age range because these guys are just immature as heck, and I'm a little bit more mature than my age group, which I totally understand. I'm like an old spirit. But whew, I had one guy, he was like, you know, like, what's up, beautiful, da da da. I'm like, oh, you know, hi, thank you, handsome, whatever, so and so. And then I didn't respond because, like I said, I'm a ghoster, and his approaches were just kind of tired and weak, and so I was just bored, so I didn't say anything. And then he was like, respond, B word. Like, he literally called me. Why am I acting like I have to censor myself on my channel? I'm trying not to cuss as much, but he literally said, respond, bitch. And I was like,
you talking to me? You talking to me?
and so I was like real blue by that. I was like, did you really just call me a B word? Did you really just call me on my name because I hurt your little male ego and didn't respond to you? Like, oh well, boo-hoo, maybe you should work on your pickup lines because they're weak. Like, it's not my problem. And again, this is gonna bring me to why I think Bumble is the elite app over Tinder, because even though women have to make the first move, and I am a little bit of a dominant person, so I really do like being able to be in control in some form or fashion, like me making the first move, like I get to set the tone for the conversation. Like, I get to use my pickup lines or my approach or however I want to talk to you, and our conversation is going to go based on that. Either it's going to go or it's not going to go anywhere, but I know it was on me. But after I send my response, your energy has to be in line. If it's not, then boo-hoo, you know what I'm saying? And then I also want to say that there's never any good prospects on these dating apps. Like, I have like 3 story times I can get into right now alone with you. Like, I was dating this Arab guy that I met on this app, and he was such a freaking liar. Like, he literally was portraying him, which he had a lot going for him, like, not gonna lie, he was a business owner and all that stuff, but he was just like mentally not in a good place. But he wanted me to like stick around, but like, I just met you. Like, I don't have to go through tribulations with you because I don't know you. Like, dating is supposed to be fun. I've only been talking to you for like maybe a month, and you're going through all these mental issues and you want me to stick by you? I cannot. You're not my boyfriend. We haven't been talking every single day exclusively, and you know I'm not your only one, but I mean, I don't date multiple guys at a time, but I know I'm not your only one. So why would I sit here and be the one to stick around for you going through these mental bouts, and you want to go ghost and then come back a couple days later and talk to me? I don't do that, okay? You have a couple of times to be flip-floppy with me and be fake with me, and it's just not gonna work out, okay? And you know, we had great conversation, we had great chemistry, but he was like the worst guy. Literally, like, he wasn't the worst guy I've ever dealt with, but he was just so unstable with himself as a person. Like, he's a character in my mind. I forget I even talk to this guy sometimes because I literally just forget. And so it's just like, you know, once we actually met up, he was disappointed in the fact that he wasn't getting any. I wasn't gonna sleep with him. I'm not gonna sleep with you. So he was disappointed in that, I can kind of tell. And after that, you know, his energy with me kind of shifted, and it was like, okay, so were you talking to me for all these months? Because then, you know, we met a couple months after talking for a couple months, maybe like 2-3 months. And it's because we were long distance, and I moved back home, and then he lived in my hometown, so I met him when I moved back to my hometown. After that we met, he realized he wasn't getting any. He was very disappointed, and his whole energy changed. And I'm like, A lot of guys outside of my race, sometimes I feel like they talk to me because they just want to say that they dated a black girl, or they wanted to sleep with a black girl, so they want to experience it. This is why reading is fundamental. This is why reading is fundamental. This is why understanding people is fundamental. If you know a woman's energy, if she's told you plenty of times she does not do certain things before being in relationships or being married and things like that, and she has boundaries in place, you need to respect that. And these men just were not respecting it. And then I had another guy I talked to, like, he was great. He wasn't my type, like, look wise and everything, but at that time I was settling because I felt like I was being too picky with my type, and now I know that I'm not, that it's okay to be picky. My type will come. But him in particular, he liked me about having a kid. We were having a conversation, I remember, and I was like, oh yeah, I never date men with kids. Like, I don't have any kids. I'm young. Like, that's not something I deal with, baby mama drama. It just ain't gonna happen. And then he was very silent, but he was like, I feel that. Okay, why didn't you say right then and there? That was like date number 2. Why did you say right then and there that you had a kid? He waited for like, I think it was like maybe 5 dates. On date number 6 maybe, he told me about his child. I was like, whoa. And it wasn't like it was like a 5 whatever year old. That baby was 2. That's a fresh baby. That is a fresh baby. You just got done sleeping with his mama. Nope. One thing about it, 2 things for sure. Sometimes these men are still dealing with their baby's mother. And one thing about it, you will always have that child there and that baby's mother there. In my early 20s, it is a time to be selfish. I already give myself so much. I don't have any children. Don't plan on having any till I'm married. And I want a man who doesn't have any kids yet, because I want us to be able to be selfish with each other. Like, we can spend our money on each other without thinking about the baby or this or that, you know? And I know we all make plans and God laughs, so I could very much end up with a guy who has a baby, but I don't see it for me right now. Like, that's literally not a part of my dating. No. I also want to say, I literally hate having these awkward conversations over and over again with these men, or having to always reintroduce myself. It is so mentally draining for me to have to always be like, hi, like, this is what I like, this is my favorite color, this is my favorite artist, da da da. That is so annoying. I hate the process of starting over, which sometimes was part of the reason I would stay in relationships that weren't really working out for me, mainly because I had a fear of starting over. But one thing I will admit is, once you get over that hump, it's amazing. But that is not what today's video is about. But I just hate having to start over and have these awkward, lame conversations. Like, I want to skip the small talk. I want to skip the awkward introductions and have a real conversation. Like, I want to get to know you, you know? Like, I want things to flow naturally. Like, I know a guy is a good match for me when we first talk and it doesn't feel really forced, you know? Like, we're having to do the most to start that conversation. Like, to me, that's almost an indicator that we don't really need to talk, because conversation with us probably won't flow as easy. But that's just me. I don't know. Y'all know I be drinking my water. Whew. Okay. Anyways, the next case. No, I'm just kidding. I also want to say, these dating apps, it makes us too complacent with dating. Okay, there's no real excitement. We all just get stuck behind a screen trying to romance each other. After 2 weeks, if we haven't met, for me, it's a goner. You're gone. If we haven't set a date or met each other by 2 weeks, or talked about making a date arrangement after 2 weeks, I don't want to talk to you, because I'm not going to talk to you for about a month of my time and not have met you. Because through a phone we can have amazing conversation, but in person the vibes could be so dead that it just depletes the purpose of us continuing this interaction. And so for me, I feel like we've become so complacent with online dating, because all we do is talk behind the screen for hours. Like, we are in the age of social media, so everything is just so quick and easy at our fingertips. So we talk behind the screen, we romanticize things behind the screen, but then when we meet in person, it might not be the same vibes. Okay, people put on personas behind these cameras, behind these phones, so you never really know how somebody is until you sit down with them. And I think that is so important for me, to sit down and meet with you after 2 weeks of talking. And if we haven't had any intention, you know, as soon as week 3 is coming around the corner, I'm ending things. That's just how it goes for me. I also think these dating apps are trash because they make us way less social. Personally, I now struggle from a social anxiety that I never had before. You know, I became an introvert, but that was mainly because of some things I've gone through. I used to be very extroverted, and I just changed my energy, but that was for the better. because now I talk less to people about my personal life, which is great because they don't need to know everything. But anyways, it's just made me less social. Like, I'm okay not talking to people. Sometimes I put my phone on D&D and it's on D&D for weeks at a time, and I will not respond to anybody. It just makes me more comfortable talking through my phone, being on these dating apps, than being in person. And I'm a person that actually pushes to go on dates because I need to be social again. And so honestly, I've just been like, these dating apps have made me way less social because sometimes I'm the person that's just like, I'm not setting a date, or a guy will try to set a date and I get nervous because it's like, I don't know how to interact because I'm interacting through these phones, and it's just like the same conversation over and over. Like, dating apps is like swiping on the same guy every 15th swipe and having the same conversation every 10 minutes, and it's very draining mentally. And my last and final issue with dating apps and why I'm done at the moment is because you're never really too invested in one person, because in your mind you're always thinking about the next person you can swipe on or who's better out there. And so for me, that's caused an issue because sometimes I think I can have like Mr. Perfect and Mr. Right in front of my face, but if you're on a dating app and you swipe and you see this guy and you're like, well, he looks better than him, or he has this better than him, or there's always somebody better out there. I had to stop with that mindset, and I think everybody's guilty of this, even people in relationships. I feel like people in relationships, when they are cheating and they're on dating apps cheating, it's because they see these Instagram models, they see these BBL girls, they see all these beautiful women, and they think, wow, you know, there's somebody out there that looks better than my girl, and I can go swipe at my fingertips and I'll have her. Or so you think, if you're not being catfished. So that's just a really big problem I got with dating apps. And I know I said that was my last one, but I'll throw in like a bonus one for y'all. Like a bonus. I'm gonna throw in a bonus one for you guys, okay? My bonus one will probably be like, you never know who you're really talking to, because people can put on facades behind these apps. For me, a very important tip that I'm going to give you guys for safety on these dating apps, if you're still using them, only talk to accounts with the verified check mark, because you know for sure that they had to verify their face and that they are who they say they are. But it's just trash out here in the dating world. So good luck to you guys. I'm gonna start a little dating series on this channel where I talk about dating further in depth, but I just wanted to talk about today while I'm over Tinder. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a day full of peace, love, positivity, good music, and chill vibes. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, boo baes, aka my virtual besties, of course.